The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100. We have quite a bit to talk about when we're looking at where we're at today. Now, obviously, as you can see, here's the 4-hour chart. We're just ripping. We're blasting through here. But we need to talk about some of this news first. I want to cover this news so we can get through this, so we can get to the technicals. Now, first things first, I want to talk about what was kind of propelling us, what was pushing us up today. There's been this back and forth of no debt ceiling, no debt ceiling. It's going back and forth, and we don't really know who to believe. And we've only heard kind of out of Biden's camp that they're not even close. And then we hear from McCarthy's camp that they're also not close. And then today, the narrative starts to switch. You know, McCarthy starts getting behind the tone of they're willing to work with us. We're actually at talking points. And that it's highly likely that this gets resolved by Sunday. Okay, this is good. Now, again, we're seeing the polar opposites kind of shifting in the market. Yesterday, we had Biden leaving the country, leaving two people that were kind of left unknown who were going to negotiate this. And now it's looking like it's trying to go through. Now, again, you're seeing some people in the Democrat corner pushing a little bit of a bad narrative. Now, again, I try not to take political sides, bullish, bearish, Democrat, Republican, I don't care, right? I'm interested in making money in the market, right? We talk about stocks. We like to see those stocks move in the direction we discuss. Now, looking at what's happening here, the Democrats are like, screw this, Biden. You got to do this. We don't got to do this. We don't got to work together. Okay? Do the 14th Amendment. Push that thing out. Then we'll tackle the debt limit how we want to tackle it. We should spin whatever, right? A little crazy, but that's the narrative that they're kind of taking here. Okay. Now, that's kind of the gist of what's happening. But it's important to realize if we do the 14th Amendment, that guess what happens? Down the road, you still have a lot of the same issues. And you're back here, except now you're going to be trying to do a deal with someone that you basically flicked off and said, we're just going to do whatever we want. So I don't think the 14th Amendment is a logical route. But you know, it's a route. It's a route they can take. Now, we're going to be jumping heavily into the ES and the Nasdaq today. You know, the Nasdaq here, obviously the ascending triangle that was playing out here for, you know, weeks, if you will, pushing up. The top line there, we eventually broke out. And, you know, we're very close to our target, which we've been talking about for a few weeks now, of basically coming into August highs of around 13.7. Okay, that's the range we've been looking at. We're very close to it. It's a very realistic target as well, right? We're happy here. You know, the SPY, we talked about a little bit of what's happening here, pushing to the upside today also. Now, why is SPY moving to the upside? I'm going to be very crystal clear with you. You are moving up solely based on this debt ceiling. There's no real bullish news out there, but it's what we've been discussing. You got a pause that's being heavily pushed by the Fed right now and their rhetoric and what they're saying. And then on the other side, you also have this debt ceiling that may get resolved. It's back-to-back really good news for the market. The tech has obviously continued to run, Nasdaq going crazy, and SPY's like, look, you know what? We went in on this party. Now, before we go to any more content, I ask you to consider doing two things, liking and subscribing. I only say that. If you get something on this video, hit the like, subscribe. It helps out tons. You know, everything we do here is absolutely free. We do lives every single day as well, so you can ask all the questions you want and hopefully get as many answers. I'm also going to be doing a new thing where I go over and find the best comment down below, and I answer it throughout the video as well. So hopefully that kind of encourages you guys to leave some comments, and as well as leave some smart comments, hopefully. Also, too, if you're interested in Discord, it is available right now. Over 900 members now in the Discord. We're absolutely killing it. I'm so happy with the direction that we're going right now. And I also want to just throw this out there. I usually talk about some of the trades we do throughout the day, and we had some great trades. But shout out to the member Mithril. He actually came in here, and he did a little bit of an audit on us. He went over basically our last trades from the last month, right? And he said just from the stats for not being tapped in all the time, but basically this month alone was 70 to 75% of the trades shared were winners with tight stops. So say 25% stopped out at roughly 10 to 12%. You'll get 75% runners between 10 and 30%. Risk to reward, 100% is there. Makes logical sense. That's really what we try to teach the bread and butter. Today's only real trade, the big one that we mentioned today, was NVIDIA. Where were we buying it? $297 all morning, 11.13. We loved it. Went crazy. Went to like 301 today. Absolute monster. And you're still running right now. You look good. You look great. Now, let's talk about technicals. I know we got a lot of discussion here, a lot of questions, and I'm going to answer those questions here. Now, we look at NVIDIA. There's a lot to say. And we look at the, ESR and the Nasdaq. Now, specifically with what's happening here, I'm going to get rid of this level, something I marked out earlier, previous high. But you can see you're moving great, right? You're moving good. I'm sorry, there's construction going on. They're removing all my siding on the side of our house, and it's really loud. But anyways, the show goes on, right? You got this flag kind of forming out here near the end of the day. You look good, ladies and gentlemen. Into tomorrow, you still look good. Great continuation. But what I want to highlight here, what I want to say is if you go to something like the 4 hour, the area of supply is very clear. Now, I think a lot of people are talking about this supply, and I see it on the 4 hour. I 100% I see it. You got this one right here. But I'm more interested in the one that's been holding on the daily time frame. And so if you go to the daily, you can actually see, and then you go to zoom into the 4 hour, you get a better visual right here. It's a clear supply from August 26th. That's a big, big level. It's going to be a battle. 4180 through 4200 is not going to be an easy level to break above. You got to understand that. I love what I'm seeing. I love the action we're getting, but you got to understand it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a fight. Okay. So we love it. We like some of the action playing out here, but again, we're not getting greedy. Okay. You got to understand here. SPY until we're above 4200, you got to be passive. We've also said SPY and Dow are the weak names compared to what's happening with tech, right? Now, let's go over some stocks we like here. Let's go over the stocks we've been mentioning here, right? What have we been talking about? Semiconductors, tech, AI. Those have been the leaders, specifically semiconductors. NVIDIA, monster move today, monster. But, what about the other names we've been talking? Everyone's talking about NVIDIA. What about the names we've been mentioning? AMD, right? Boom, right here. Again, if you're not on Twitter, I really recommend you get on there, right? The link is down below to follow us on Twitter. Again, a lot of this stuff, like I say, we post stuff in Discord so we can be hands-on and teach. But a lot of this stuff in here is absolutely free. April 30th, what did we say? AMD to 100. Where were you at back there? $89, right? I gave you a whole thread explaining why. All the reasons why I suspected it to go there, right? Just giving you that stuff just for free, trying to help you guys. AVGO, big one here. The range was trading. You broke 644, easy money push, right? What about Microsoft? Big name here also. Pushing right up into our target, 315, 316. Easy money. They're all moving in our direction. LRCX, remember this one. We said it as well. Another almost $20 move on the day. You continue to rally. CRM, we like cloud as well. We talked about the ascending trial here at 200. Boom, almost 210 now. You are just ripping. This is exactly what we're looking for in this market. The opportunities are there. They're setting up, and you got to be able to strike and take advantage, right? So I want to just address the ones we've been looking at and kind of moving forward and overall direction. Now, I'm going to say right now, I don't think you need to be getting too aggressive here at highs, right? Everyone, I got to say this. Everyone's like, look, Tyler, what do we buy when we're at highs? When you're at highs, that's not the time to buy. The time to buy was yesterday, the day before, and the day before that. Those were your opportunities. The confirmation on Friday, we said the candle was bullish, right? We've been talking about this. So I can only say it so many times. You have to be able to look at statistically your opportunity, your risk to reward. Like that guy said in that audit on the channel, he said, look, if you're risking 10%, you're going to win 20 to 30% on these trades in Discord, right? But that's not just to say Discord's going to make you right. I always say Discord's not signals. It's there to teach you. It's there to get around traders like yourself. It's there to surround yourself with people with a like-minded goal, because who you're around, I firmly believe, is who you will become. And if you're around people that are hungry and they're trying to invest in their future and they're trying to do this every single day, I don't think you're going to take steps back. I'm just saying, at the very least, you're going to take a step forward. At least one step. So you got to understand that also. But when we're looking here, that's the viewpoint here, right? You trade when you get the confirmation. Last Friday, you held perfect and you pushed back up, right? So that's what we're looking at. That's the visual on the market here. We have a lot of questions, though, going into the end of the week. We have the debt ceiling, very big issue. There's a possibility, even though they're saying all this, and as bullish as I want to be here, there's a possibility it doesn't get resolved. I think it will get resolved, but there's a possibility that it doesn't, okay? And I think these are things you got to be prepared for and you got to be ready for. And I'd be lying if I was overhyping you and telling you were going to the moon. You're very close to a lot of our targets. 4,200 on, ES, 13.7 roughly here on the Nasdaq. So you're moving good. You're moving towards our targets. Makes sense. We like what we're seeing, right? No need to get crazy, but you'll love what you're seeing here. So overall in the market, that's what we like. That's what we're looking at. Now, if we look at a few other things, I want to be really clear here before I let you guys out of here. Let's be really clear about what we're looking for here. We're going to go really quick into VIX as we look here. VIX, again, we're trending at lows. What have we been saying here on VIX? You go to the weekly. You got to go all the way back. What happens when you're at lows on VIX? Everyone likes to chart VIX like it's an equity. We like to chart VIX like it's a stock and like it's at support and it's going to bounce on support. VIX is not it's not an equity. It's not a stock. It's a measure of derivatives, of volatility in the market. That's what it's a measure of, okay? When you were at lows down here, you know what happened in 2021? You trended at all-time highs. You continue to break and break and break. So when you're lower on VIX, you're more bullish. That's where you're at. DXY, what's happening here? We hit that resistance. We had it marked out. And as we're looking here, we're expecting some downside moves here, right? DXY, though, you're still kind of holding up. Again, even if you move up here, I'm not necessarily getting bearish on the market just because of how low DXY is. But I still think DXY has downside. Also want to talk about TLT, bonds. Very interesting here. Very, very, very interesting. I want to just highlight where we're at and kind of how we're moving. It's been a long time since I've looked at this chart. If we look at what's happening here, though, I want to be very clear. We zoom in here, man. They are so loud out there. If we look at kind of the action that you're getting, again, just showing you the pennant that you've been in, the higher lows you've been making here on yields and bonds. Bonds don't look good. Going to tell you, bonds look like they want to have more downside. What do we think is going to happen if bonds continue to move down? Equities will move up. Okay, that's what's been hurting the overall value of equities. That's what's been hurting banks. We look at bonds. In my opinion, I think they want to start moving down. SPY relative to TLT is doing very good. The 10-year versus 30-year continues to move down. Okay, we've talked heavily about this. This is what we've been looking for. Okay. That's what we like in this market. That's what we're looking for. Again, gold. People asking about gold and what's happening with Bitcoin. Gold. I told you guys as well, we're not looking to go long on gold. Why? Because you're sitting at all-time highs. You don't go long at highs. That doesn't make any sense. You sell at highs, you buy at lows. The end. You look at gold. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's been saying gold, gold, gold. But guess what? You're at highs. It makes no sense. You love this here. If you break highs, then yeah, you can buy it on the breakout. But until then, you're looking for downside and a retracement here, and sellers are still stepping in on gold as well. Bitcoin, also talking here. Not the prettiest, and I think people are trying to kind of form out this head and shoulders here. I don't like it, though. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see the head and shoulders. I don't think it wants to play out. You kind of have it forming out there, but I think you want to push back up. As long as equities are bullish, I'm bullish on Bitcoin as well. I don't think it's going to trade counter to the market. That's my viewpoint. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.